Hi, welcome to Chapter 4, Social Interaction and Groups. Today we're going to look at our communication process, our actions, our reactions, and how all of this is influenced by the environment and the people around us. First up, we look at social action, also known as social interaction. This refers to anything that people are conscious of doing because of other people. Social interaction involves two or more people taking one another into account. Social interaction is a central concept to understanding the nature of social life. How much of what we do on a daily basis is because of other people? The way we dress, the way we do our hair, the way we talk. Do we behave differently when we are talking to different people? For example, with our parents, with our friends, with our colleagues, with our boss? Why is this the case? Context refers to the place or situation where the social interaction takes place. This can refer to the physical setting or place, the social environment, or the activities surrounding the interaction. Basically, we behave differently. We speak differently depending on the context. When we're having a yamcha session at a mamak store with our friends, when we're at work, when we're dealing with customers or clients, when we are at a job interview, we all behave differently in all of these different settings. Part of the way we communicate with each other is our non-verbal behavior. This includes actions such as the waving of our hands, yawning, breathing, whether lightly or heavily, the clothing that we wear or don't wear, makeup, smoking, staring, smiling, frowning, laughing or crying. All of these actions, whether we do it consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or unintentionally, we are communicating a message to the people around us. What are some of the examples of non-verbal communication that you can think about? How do you act or react when someone that you like is close by, or someone that you don't like is close by? How about when you meet someone that you deeply respect or admire, like an idol or a famous person? We all do different things to different people, with different people, and for other people. One of these includes exchanges. Exchanges happen when people do something for each other with the express purpose of receiving a reward or return. They are involved in an exchange interaction. This includes a lot of our daily activities, including buying breakfast from the auntie at the cafeteria, to the act of being nice to someone, like something as simple as saying good morning or thank you to someone in hopes that they will do something nice for you in return. Cooperation or a cooperative interaction occurs when people act together to promote common interests or achieve shared goals. Now, you all know the saying that no man is an island. It's very difficult for us to live and to work alone. This is why it's important for us to learn skills like teamwork, leadership, and communication skills. We find that we typically have to collaborate or work with someone when it comes to different types of projects, whether it be big or small. A photographer needs a model. A chef needs someone to help them serve the food. A lecturer needs administration staff to help them with the paperwork. These are just some of the examples of cooperation or collaborative effort that we do in order to get our job done. When people fail to work together or to come to an agreement, very frequently we have conflict. Conflicts arise when people or groups have incompatible values, or when rewards or resources available to a society or its members are limited. Conflict always involves an attempt to gain or use power. Human beings disagree on a lot of things, from something as simple as the way we talk or the way we dress, to something as delicate or sensitive as family issues or religious issues. Also, as human beings, we all want more. A company only has a limited amount of budget to allocate to its staff. Therefore, conflict can arise when different staff members want a portion of that limited budget. The problem with conflict is that it often leads to unhappiness and violence, and this causes many people to view it negatively. A stable society is not one without conflicts, but one that has developed methods for resolving them or by brutally suppressing them, at least temporarily. Conflicts can be the source of new inventions, ideas, and partnerships. Now, it's very normal as human beings for us to want to constantly prove that we are the best, or to constantly fight or argue to prove that what we are doing is correct. People work very hard from all around the world to represent their countries in various competitions, such as the Olympics, World Cup, cooking competitions, dance competitions, different types of innovation in technology to prove that they are the best in the world. Being able to prove that you are one of the best in the world without punching someone or shooting or killing someone is very, very important to ensure world peace. History has also proven that the best inventions, the best creations around the world by human beings happens usually because of competition, because of profit, to prove that they are the best in the world in order to secure many of our hard-earned dollars. Do you think it is possible to have a society without conflict? A society where everyone is just happy being who they are and there's no need to prove that you are better than other people. Sounds impossible, right? Even in the entertainment industry, many of us are drawn to drama and conflict. Our favorite movies, whether it be action, romance, or drama, frequently involve some kind of conflict where the main character is trying his or her best to overcome obstacles, whether it be to defeat the bad guy or to win the heart of their loved ones and to live happily ever after. Think of movies like Star Wars or Star Trek. These are movies that represent the future. Even in the future, human beings are portrayed as constantly fighting to prove themselves to be the best or fighting for different resources around the world. Due to our nature as human beings, it is necessary to have competition. Competition is a form of conflict in which individuals or groups define their conflict within agreed upon rules. How do we prove that we are the best without killing someone or without hurting someone? We have badminton competitions, football tournaments, singing competitions. So, competitions are basically ways that we can still kind of fight with each other without actually hurting someone. Of course, people still do get hurt during competitions, but we do take measures to try to avoid that. What are some of the examples of competition based on the definition? Are there any type of contests or tournaments that you enjoy participating or watching? How can good competition be corrupted? Because of pride, because of greed, because of the overwhelming desire to prove that you are the best in the world, sometimes people resort to corrupted ways in order to win a competition. Some people resort to bribery and doping, which is becoming more and more of a problem in sporting competitions. Doping is basically taking some kind of medication or drugs in order to enhance your performance. Unfortunately, many professional athletes have been forced or pressured by their managers or their sponsors or their companies into taking drugs or performance enhancers in order to become better and in order to win the competition. As we go through life and experience different types of socialization from different people, we acquire different statuses and roles that define us as a person. Let's take a look at some of these elements of social interaction that define our identity as a person. Statuses are basically socially defined positions that people occupy. Examples of how statuses can define our social identity includes our religion, our education, our ethnicity, and our occupation. People look at us differently depending on whether you are a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Christian, whether you are a teacher or an engineer or a lawyer or a doctor. Whether you are Malay, Chinese, Indian, Orang Asli, Orang Asal, white, black. Whether we like it or not, all of these statuses affect the way that we go through life and affect our experiences with other people. There are two types of statuses we can acquire in life, namely an ascribed status and an achieved status. An ascribed status is conferred to us by virtue of birth or other significant factors not controlled by our own actions or decisions. People occupy them regardless of their intentions. This includes birth order, sex, race. Whether we like it or not, some people are born a certain way. Maybe you are the firstborn son or the third daughter. Maybe you were born into a family of minorities. Maybe you were born visually impaired or blind. Some people are born deaf. Some people are born physically or mentally handicapped. This is not by their choice and are some examples of ascribed statuses. An achieved status is a status that we occupy as a result of our actions. Whether we are a student, whether we are a college professor, a garage mechanic, a race car driver, an artist, a prisoner, a bus driver, a husband, a wife, a mother, or a father. These are statuses that happen to us because of our choices in life. Some people are in jail because they choose to commit a crime. People are engineers because they choose to study engineering in college. When we get married, we become someone's husband or someone's wife. These are just some examples of statuses that we can achieve in our life. Depending on the statuses that have been ascribed to us or we have achieved in life, we take up certain roles in society. Roles are culturally defined rules for proper behavior that are associated with every status. A status may include a number of roles, and each role will be appropriate to a specific social context. As a lecturer, not only am I expected to teach or to lecture, I am expected to be able to talk and be an expert in whatever topic I'm teaching. I'm expected to be able to counsel or give advice to students who are having troubles with their studies or even their personal life. As an educator, I'm also expected to set a good example for my students. When we take up a certain role, it also comes with many other roles. This is known as a role set. Role sets are all the roles attached to a single status and are known collectively as a role set. For example, you are a student of Xiamen University. What other role comes with it? You may be a member of the football club, a treasurer of the dance club, a student of society and culture, a group member of a certain group assignment. When you take up all these roles, what do you think is expected from you? You are expected to be punctual for class. You are expected to be active in meetings. You are expected to participate in your group activities. An individual's role behaviors depend on the statuses of other people with whom he or she is interacting. Depending on the relationship that you have with the members that you are interacting, the way that you behave may be different. For example, if your group members were also your best friends, you may be a lot more friendly and a lot more casual with them compared to if they were people that you don't know. If you're working for your father or your uncle's company, the way that you work or behave would be very different compared to if you're working for someone that you are not related to. Even though we may try our very best to fulfill the task that is given to us based on our roles, sometimes we encounter what is known as role strain. Role strain happens when a single role has conflicting demands attached to it. Individuals who play that role experience role strain. For example, the captain of an airplane is expected to be sure the plane flies only when it is in safe condition. But the captain is also expected to meet the company's flight schedule because a day's delay could cost a company thousands of dollars. The stress of these competing pools is not due to the captain's personality, but rather is built into the nature of the role expectations attached to the captain's status. As a lecturer, I would very much like to spend time with my students. Sometimes students come to me individually with their problems that they are having with their classes. I have a responsibility to these students to try to help them, to try to advise them with their problems. But then again, I cannot spend too much time with each student because I also have to spend time preparing for classes. I also have to mark exam papers. So as lecturers, although we want to help students with their problems, we do have many other duties, many of which actually take up a lot of time. Let's take a short break. I'll see you shortly.